Hello and welcome to FPL Mates, a brand new video series where I will be chatting to different FPL managers every single week. Some will be other FPL YouTubers, some will be FPL experts and pundits, but we're also going to bring in some non-FPL people who you all have heard of for non-FPL reasons, but you might not know that they have a passion for the beautiful game about the beautiful game. Now, I thought, what better way to start off this series than to join forces with one of the first fantasy YouTubers I personally ever watched. One of the main inspirations for starting up this YouTube channel, and a person that you guys have asked me many times if I can collab with him. He's South Africa's finest FPL manager, in my opinion. It's none other than Mr. Dayvy FPL. How you doing, Dayvy?
How's it, guys? Hope you guys are doing well.
Welcome to the channel. It's like I said, a few people have asked me in the past, you've got to do something with Dayvy at some point in the future, so I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that most people hopefully enjoy this video.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people already be well aware of who you are. But if you don't know who Dayvy is, he is an FPL YouTuber on this channel, on this beautiful platform. How many subscribers are you sitting on at the moment, Dayvy? You're post 20k now, aren't you?
Post 20k, I think we just kind of edging on 25k. So nice. We're going to near that target, so maybe before Game Week 1's deadline, we can hopefully reach that and push the limits onwards.
Yeah, so okay, we'll hopefully we'll be able to get you a few subscribers from this video, so definitely recommend checking out Dayvy. Let me show you why. And this is what you're about to see, guys, on screen is one of the reasons why I first watched Dayvy. I'm going to bring up in front of you his history, his season history. So, started off in 2016-17, pretty casual season, Dayvy.
Yeah, so we can maybe talk about, that was my first season of getting into FPL, so maybe later on we can talk about what actually happened there, and don't worry, there was some reasons for that bad rank.
Okay. I mean, honestly, like the first probably 5 or 6 seasons I played FPL, I don't even think I managed to finish a full season. They're all like outside like 500k.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is I think with most people generally there's a certain point where they take FPL seriously, and then you'll see there's kind of a drastic rise in rank just because every week they're changing their team, changing their captain, and they're just taking the game overall more seriously.
Yeah, it's so true. Half of FPL is just managing a whole season. A lot of people just give up after half a season or whatever, but if you just keep going, you'll just naturally rise up the ranks just by the fact that you're playing and other people aren't.
Yeah, 100% exactly.
So then we go on to 2017-18, 65k. That's when you're starting to take it a bit more seriously, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so my first season, I took it quite casually, just got into the game, got the feel of what was the rules and everything like that. And then that season, I started to take things more seriously, started to watch a couple of FPL content creators, looked at the stats, that sort of thing. And that's where I kind of found my feet. Wasn't the best rank in the world, but I think it was better than my first season, definitely.
Hey, it's decent. You know, a lot of people would be very happy, particularly these days. A lot of people would be happy with a rank like that.
No, exactly. And like as the seasons have gone on, more people are playing FPL. So it's kind of getting harder and harder to finish higher up in the ranks.
Yeah, exactly. And then, this is the big one. This is what everyone's probably eyeing up. Davey, this is when I first found your YouTube channel. You had like, your video was titled something like #1 in South Africa. And it had like your rank, and it was just incredible to watch you, really.
Yeah, that was the
how did that happen?
That was the season where I think I got famous for putting the rank in the title of the video. So a little bit of clickbait there, but I think that it was justified.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah, and that's why that was the season when I started my YouTube channel, because I knew that I had to kind of capitalize on this rank, and hopefully more people will kind of focus on me because I have such a good rank. And you know how people are, like, if you have a really good rank, they generally think that they're going to watch your content more. So rank is always an important factor, not the most important factor in content creation, but just from a personal point of view, that was the season where I knew that I could make something special. And the interesting thing about it, though, is I actually started at about 50k. So I was very happy that making YouTube videos didn't kind of jeopardize the rank too much.
That's an interesting point, actually, because I kind of felt last season was my first season, really, like a full season on YouTube. And I kind of felt like the fact that I was being watched and that my every move would be scrutinized a little bit, I felt like that really impacted me and kind of led me into some weird decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel that
100%.
at all?
So I personally don't really feel like that. I think last season, if we talk about last season, we'll kind of address what happened at the start of last season for me. And I felt a little bit of pressure there, but I think it was the second season that I started creating content, the one where I finished about 5.5k. That was the season where I felt the pressure, but not necessarily from kind of my viewers and the FPL community. It was just generally pressure I put on myself. So I personally don't feel that pressure from people watching me, but I can completely understand why you personally would feel it, because having so many people watch you and you feel a sense of responsibility on your decision making, and as you said, sometimes it can make you do some weird things or make some weird captaincy choices. So it's something that I think that as you play more and kind of make more videos and play more, and have more content creation seasons, you'll kind of get used to it maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I hope so. I think one of the things that I found difficult last year was I just completely refused to take a hit because I was embarrassed to have to take a hit. So I don't think I took a single hit in the first half of the season. And this was like in an injury-ravaged season. I was getting an injury every week, pretty much. And I just refused to take a hit because only bad FPL managers take a hit, which I've kind of since learned is not really true.
Well, it's actually quite funny that you say that, because I know some people that it has the opposite effect on. They feel like they need to be entertaining, so they take 2 billion hits a game week just to try and get the best squad or whatever. But I think that I would rather be on your side of things by not taking hits than being on the other side of it where you're just taking hits for days.
I guess so, yeah. You don't want it to be taking too many hits, that's for sure. But anyway, in the next season, after your rank of 22 in the world, which is just insane, by the way, like, what are the odds of that happening?
It's literally, as you said, what are the odds? I personally think there's a lot of luck in FPL, so I think I was very lucky that season.
Hey, but you say that, but the next season, directly after that, you finished with, 5.4k. So you can say, oh, maybe getting in the top 10k, that's skill. Maybe after that, there's an element of luck to get to the absolute top, maybe. But you've clearly shown very clear proof that you can do it consistently. You can do it again.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that I think that season for me was my toughest season, because I came out of the gates racing 22 in the world, absolutely sensational. But then the next season, I had to kind of prove that I wasn't a one-season wonder. I was going to be a kind of 3-season wonder, like a Mo Salah, hopefully. So that's why I think that season was, from my point of view, I had a lot of pressure on me from myself, because I wanted to kind of show the community that I could do it again, and it wasn't just kind of, as I said, a one-season wonder.
Yeah. Well, I think you proved that, to be fair. I think you've done that.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think you can put that behind you. Like two seasons in a row in the top 10k is a clear sign of consistency, as far as I'm concerned. But you wanted to talk about this next season, and I think I remember last season you didn't start with Salah, did you? You started with Mane.
Yes. So that was. We'll get onto it when I talk about my draft, but that has been a very big learning curve for me.
Yeah.
And probably the reason why I haven't been focusing on preseason too much, because I focused on preseason so much last season. Mo Salah was nowhere near my draft because Mane was just looking so much better than him. As a Liverpool fan, I was actually watching a lot of the preseason last season, and Sadio Mane just looks so much stronger. Then what happens game week 1? Mo Salah, 2 penalties, and probably one of the best goals that I've seen him score against Leeds in that 5-4 win.
Yeah.
And I mean, from that point on, it was kind of downhill. Mane did, I think, get more points than him in game week 2, but kind of everyone was on Mo Salah game week 1, so I was just kind of backpedaling from the start.
Well, I mean, you did claw it back. I mean, I'm guessing that
actually,
kind of set off a chain of events where you're probably outside the top million for at least the first 5 game weeks or something like that, right?
I think game week 10 I was 3.8 million. So
wow.
And then I think from then we got 15 consecutive green arrows.
Oh, that is nice.
So it was a nice season, and that's why I always say, like, if you guys get off to a bad start, just do yourself a favor. You can go watch the videos from last season, and that'll give you hope that it's not over till game week 38, and you can always kind of claw back as many places in a mini league or the overall ranks that you guys can.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, fair play. We are going to move on to your team in a minute, Davey, but I did also
100%.
want to talk about you on YouTube a little bit because I mean, everyone can see your face right now, but you recently face revealed. So you were a faceless man for what, two years? How long have you been doing YouTube now?
It was
2.5 years?
Yeah, it was 2 seasons that I would say 2 seasons that I haven't done any kind of face or webcam or anything like that. But then the start of this season, I thought that, I want to up the production quality, make the videos a little bit better. And if people have been asking for it, I'm going to give the people what they want. And we kind of did it at the start of the season. So I took the preseason to kind of get everything sorted out because I didn't want to kind of get a bad setup. I wanted to do it properly. And fortunately, I think we're still kind of learning a little bit on the editing side and the video quality side, the audio sync side especially. But as I said, we're kind of improving it as the season goes on, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, from the first video I watched of you, which is basically just screen recording
terrible
the fantasy
quality
football website, to now, you've just improved so much, and it is fantastic to see. You've got the ranks behind you. You've now got developing those editing skills. You've face revealed, which I really feel like the face cam content is the way forward with FPL. It really seems that way.
No, definitely, and I've come to learn from fellow content creators, yourself, Dan, as well. I mean, you do a great job on the YouTube side of things and also the fantasy side of things. So it's nice to have kind of a competition, inverted commas, so that you can up your game from a personal point of view.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I'll always be a better YouTuber than I am an FPL player. So you've definitely got the FPL side of me beat, I think.
I think you just putting yourself down because it's your own channel there. Can't boast too much on your own videos.
No, I suppose you can't, can you? But we can hype you up today, can't we?
Don't worry. We'll share the hype.
Okay, fine. Okay, right. I think a lot of people are probably waiting to have a look at your team. I've had a little sneaky look at it, but I've not looked at it too much because I wanted to give some more instantaneous reaction. I also want to hear why you've picked some of these players as well before I jump down your throat. But yeah, okay. This is what we've got.
Do you want me to go from the goalkeepers up, or are we going to just talk about certain positions? What do you kind of want to...
Let's go position by position first.
Okay.
So tell me about Sanchez.
Okay, so Sanchez and Foster, I haven't changed this combination since my kind of first draft. I just think in terms of the 4.5 options, I prefer Sanchez to maybe someone like a Bachmann, just because Brighton, they've been in the Prem. Watford are a newly promoted side. Maybe they'll take some time to adjust to the Prem. So I think Sanchez is perfectly fine for me. Having lost White to Arsenal, which hasn't, I think it's been confirmed. I don't know if it's been confirmed officially, but it seems like that transfer is going to go through. But I think that Brighton are very... I think they're very kind of systematic defense. So even though White's going to be out of the team, they'll just bring someone else back in that centre-back slot. And I think they'll still be quite defensively strong. So 4.5, I always kind of like to go cheap on my goalkeepers just because of the kind of, they don't have that much of a high ceiling. But I can perfectly understand if you guys have been considering Martinez, because from a value point of view, that looks quite good. But for my personal team, Sanchez is probably not going to change for that Game Week 1 squad.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, by the way. Sanchez and Foster is the exact same combo that I've been stuck on for the last 2 weeks. So, I think I'm pretty set on that.
Have you seen with
well.
Foster that potentially, I mean, Bachmann has been approached by Ajax, but so Foster maybe could be a starting goalkeeper, but I personally think that he'll probably be second choice going into that kind of Watford's first Prem season in a while.
Yeah, I kind of thought with Foster... Because Foster sort of played half a season last season, that there is that possibility if Bachmann is has a few bad games or whatever, he is kind of, there's a ready-made replacement in there in the Watford goalkeeping lineup, I guess. Yeah,
there's going to be a ton of competition between them, which makes it better for us FPL managers, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Sanchez, I agree with. Since Lamptey's no longer an option because of his injury, Ben White's moved to Arsenal. You do want that Brighton defensive cover, as you kind of alluded to. Yeah. But where else do you go? Do you go for a Lewis Dunk, cost an extra 0.5? Probably do without spending the extra 0.5.
It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. And as you said, without Lamptey, kind of, if Lamptey was back 100%, I think that he probably would be in my squad. But there's just too many concerns about him starting the season, and that's why I think I would rather just go safe and hopefully Sanchez plays. As far as I know, he is nailed, even though Brighton have been signing a couple of goalkeepers behind the scenes, which I'm a little bit worried about, but I think Sanchez should be fine.
Yeah, the goalkeeper they brought in, I can't remember his name now, but I don't think he played for Ajax's youth team, so I don't think he's a ready-made replacement or anything like that.
Yeah.
By the looks of things. Let's move on to your defense.
Okay, so the defense, I'm actually quite excited about. I've gone, you could say, big at the back, but it's not too big at the back in my personal opinion. So Luke Shaw, there's been a little bit of an injury update before we recorded this video that apparently he is expected to be back for game week 1. So I think that's a massive boost. So he's definitely going to be in my kind of lineup. Then we go on to Luca Digne. I think from an Everton point of view, as a Liverpool fan, I've watched Benitez when he managed Liverpool. I think defensively they hopefully will improve from last season. That's why I think Digne should be quite a nice selection at 5.5. And then kind of the most nailed player probably in my lineup, it's going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not going anywhere. I think that I'll definitely have him. It's just kind of whether I double up in the Liverpool defense or I just stick with one.
Yeah, no, I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I don't think we need to have a conversation about because he should be nailed in everyone's team, really.
Yeah.
Digne, the reason why I've not really looked at Digne this preseason, well, I've looked at him, obviously, but the reason I've not really considered him is because, obviously, we speak about Benitez as being maybe a more pragmatic defensive manager. Maybe is that going to limit Digne's ability to get forward, especially at a 4 at the back formation?
No, 100%. That could be the case, and I think that's really going to be where preseason helps us. I know they did. I think they played today, and apparently Luca Digne was getting quite forward. But I can understand what you're saying with that, and I think that's why maybe going for these Everton assets might be more of a punt at the start of the season. And I'm just kind of willing to take that punt because the fixtures do still look quite good. But in terms of kind of other options you can go for, downgrading him if you want to upgrade one of your other departments, he's probably the player that I would downgrade for my own personal team if I was looking to upgrade one of the midfielders or the forwards.
Fair enough. And then quickly, Luke Ayling there, is he rotating with anyone or is he just primary bench cover?
So I think I would only probably bench one of my starting defenders if they were facing one of the other top 6 sides. Or maybe if Luke Ayling maybe had a great fixture, maybe Leeds are playing one of the newly promoted players. But I think at 4.5, I'm just probably going to have him on my bench most game weeks unless, as I said, one of the other starting 11 players doesn't have a great fixture.
Fair enough. Right, into midfield. Go.
So in midfield, I'm going to say, so this draft is probably super template, and that kind of takes back to what we were talking about with last season where I took a couple of punts early on and I was backtracking from the beginning. So this season, I'm going quite strong in inverted commas on the template, and that's why I'm going for the classic Bruno Fernandes, Mo Salah combination with your cheaper midfielders, and that's going to be Sarr from Watford, and then it's also going to be Buendia from Aston Villa.
Yeah, I mean, Salah, Fernandes, they're the template too, aren't they?
Don't have to talk about them at all.
Big time. Again, we can pretty much skip over them. But with Sarr and Buendia, I like them as picks.
Yes.
What I don't quite like, and, perhaps, maybe you can offer some different insight or a different side of the coin here, is that there isn't quite as much flexibility in there as I'd like. So, for example, if you want to move to a Rafinha, he's already increased in price. If you want to get a Greenwood, if Greenwood pops off at the beginning of the season, a Jota, Mount, or someone like that, how do you bring in that player?
So I guess how I would look at it is a player like a Greenwood and a Jota. I think that although they might kind of bang in the opening couple game weeks, I think if I've missed that already, I don't think I would bring those players in any way because they might be rotation risks in the upcoming game weeks. Because with Greenwood and Jota, we were kind of banking on them starting the opening couple game weeks, and then we'll ship them onto wherever we want when Firmino comes back into the lineup, or maybe a Rashford or Martial's back for Manchester United, that sort of thing. So with those two players, I think I would sway away from them, but I can understand what you're talking about with Rafinha and Harrison because those two options are basically who I'm banking on bringing in in game week 3 or 4 whenever Leeds fixtures do turn. So that's why with Buendia, only for those Aston Villa opening 3, that's where I will be having him. I play like a Watkins as well, but then after that, I'll probably be shipping them out. So it's definitely something that I'm going to have to think about, maybe leave 0.5 in the bank to kind of accommodate those moves, because if they do rise in price, as you said, that's going to leave quite a nightmare for me to sort out with those free transfers. But I think with the opening couple game weeks, Aston Villa assets, you can target them kind of low risk because of the nice fixtures. And then with Sarr, a little bit of a differential there, but if you don't want to waste transfers, then maybe just keep Harrison or Rafinha in from the beginning, so then you don't have to worry about kind of using your free transfers in the opening couple game weeks.
Yeah. So why did you go with Sarr? Because a lot of people will probably be looking at this team and thinking, Sarr, that's kind of a little bit left field. That's an interesting pick. And you've kind of already said that's a bit of a differential. What drew you to Sarr?
So with Sarr, I said in my video, I think this was in my first draft, he's just the baller. That's why I kind of have him, an absolute baller, and I always like to have these players in. But no, from a more kind of a logical point of view, Watford's fixtures aren't that bad at the beginning. And for 6 million, I kind of just wanted a player that I can bring in and I don't have too much risk kind of taking them out, because Sarr to Harrison will definitely be kind of penciled in right now. And I'm banking on kind of doing that transfer a couple of game weeks in. But I think that Sarr has enough of kind of an explosive nature, and he's played in the Prem before. And I think that's kind of a big thing I'm kind of focusing on is trying to get more nailed options. I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't go for maybe a Tony from Brentford, but I think having a player that's already played in the Prem at the start of the season does help a little bit and has a little bit less of a risk than a player that hasn't.
Sarr and Buendia is a bit of a 2019-20 throwback.
That's a throwback.
That combo play, yeah. Okay, right, let's go into your forwards. Go on.
So the two forwards that I'm definitely nailed on is going to be Antonio and Watkins. I've kind of already thought that those two players are going to be essential to my own lineup, and I don't see them going anywhere no matter how I kind of change my draft. The player that I'm not really keen on might be Calvert-Lewin, and that's just because, first of all, we don't really know how Everton are going to set up. We do think that maybe Benitez will play a sole striker up front, which will be DCL, but now we've seen Moise Kean maybe coming back from that PSG loan. Maybe he could come into the questions. Richarlison coming back from that Olympic squad. Maybe there could be some rotation there, but I think that at this current price point, with 8 million, it offers you some flexibility. If you want to go Bamford, you can go for him. Kind of granted if Bamford doesn't rise in price, but also if I manage to find another 0.5, I might look at someone like a Cavani or someone like that to just upgrade them. But I could also downgrade them and then opt for maybe a Robertson, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. It's kind of Luca Digne, DCL, or going for maybe Robertson and then someone like a Tony. So now I've kind of gone for these options, but the only two players that are nailed are going to be Antonio and Watkins, just because, first of all, the fixtures and the stats are backing them up. And at 7.5 million, I don't think you can go wrong with these two options.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I had Antonio in my team for the longest time until just the other day. I put in Wilson instead of Antonio.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I think I saw your tweet today comparing them, so I think I can understand it. I just don't know. I don't know about Newcastle. It's just maybe I have kind of a bias against them, but I just don't know about them. But honestly, at the beginning of the season, there's not too much risk in kind of going for these other mid-range options, and you can chop and change them as you guys do, please.
Yeah, I don't think there's out of all of the forwards that we've kind of identified, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, Watkins, Antonio, Cavani, Iheanacho, there's not gonna be. I don't think you could really say that any of them are a bad pick, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, it's
There's
very
like
interesting.
7, 8 good options.
And I mean, we haven't even incorporated like an Iheanacho. I mean, he comes in there with a lovely game week 3 fixture. I mean, he could also be an option that you guys do look at. But I've kind of, he was in my initial draft, but I'm leaning towards going without him right now. I don't know why. But I think that, as you said, you can't go wrong with some of these options. I think they're very well priced this season. And hopefully that increases kind of the variance at the start of the season.
Yeah, there's going to be huge variance with forwards. I mean, we've not spoken about Tony. We've not spoken about Jimenez.
Exactly.
And we've not spoken about Kane. There's 3 forward slots.
If we're going to talk about Kane, it's going to be another 20-minute video, because I think if he goes to Man City, which I think he will, everyone's drafts are going to be ripped up, and we're going to have to try and fit him in. And I mean, that's another premium at 12 million that we can't even afford right now. How are we going to afford it when he manages to move?
Well, Bruno is going to be sacrificed. I'm telling you, Bruno's effective ownership will just drop from whatever it is right now, like 40%, all the way down to about 15% overnight if Kane makes that transfer.
That's probably true. I mean, Bruno differential maybe even.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Bruno going from everyone's scared of not having him to becoming this differential pick suddenly.
That's how FPL sometimes is. It changes day by day. I mean.
No, that would be pretty cool. Well, I mean, I think we've had a decent video here. I think now. I hope that a lot of people have enjoyed us combining forces a little bit. Maybe?
I think it's been quite a good collaboration. I mean, the people will say so. Like the video if you did enjoy it, as the people always say, smash that like button, and maybe we can feature or collaborate again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, this series I'm going to do a video like this every single week. I'm sure we can get you back on in like a month, couple of months if you're up for it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's always nice to kind of have these catch-ups because sometimes viewers kind of generally focus on one specific content creator, and then maybe this can give us a little bit of background and see how we kind of catching up 1 month's time. Hopefully second and first in FPL. Hopefully that'll be quite a nice thing, but hopefully...
How amazing would that be? Me and you first and second in FPL.
That would be mental, but as we said, there's a lot of luck involved, but maybe this could be the kind of lucky season for Dayvy FPL and the FPL Mate.
It's possible. It's technically possible.
It's technically possible, but I think I also used up most of my luck in the past couple seasons, so I might have to take a bench spot on this one.
Fair enough. Well, you take second, I'll take first then.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Right, okay, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. Thank you so much, Dayvy, for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I've wanted to work with you for a long time, so this has been really cool to do.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. It's nice to see your team and stuff. Everyone, make sure you go and check out Davy's channel. I will leave the link in the top of the description for you to go check out yourself. Give him a subscription. Let's see how many subscribers we can get on his channel. I'm sure he's got some goals before Game Week 1, as he kind of alluded to earlier. So, yeah, let's see what we can do there. But aside from that, guys, if you like this video, you subscribe to this channel. That would also be awesome. And, yeah, I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.